in our dialect, they called me the Llorona because it's like, oh, you're crying all the time, you again crying. So it was completely uh, minimized as being the super emotional one. Even, into my adult relationships with my long-term relationship, I was still kind of shamed for crying because my relationship, my ex was the oldest of his family, so he was the controlling one and then would shut down his younger siblings from emotion. So, we played those roles perfectly, youngest to oldest. So I think it's interesting is how family dynamic creates those masks, right? There's no way. I mean, you're little, you don't know anybody, your brain's developing all the way to age 25. So all those formative years are going to create those masks. And I don't know that we should consider all those masks as bad per se, because they are all coping mechanisms, right? All of
They're
them were
all
some kind of
coping.
coping mechanism to survive whatever family system, whatever challenge you were going through. And it's really somewhere along the way, whether it's somebody who allows you to cry, somebody who sees you for what you are, you start to get these little glimpses of, oh, okay, I don't have to be this way. And then as an adult, it takes these big events for you to really dig deep and say, okay, this keeps happening. This is a theme in my life. Why do I keep ending up in this space? Why do I attract these kinds of people to me? And
Yeah.
then the masks get revealed, right? And then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, like as a people pleaser, I didn't know I was people pleasing. I was just doing my thing. Like, let me help you there. Let me do this. Let me volunteer there. That just giving so much to the point of depletion, but I didn't realize, right?
And sacrificing your boundaries, by
Yeah,
the
and
way.
sacrificing
Yeah.
boundaries. And so you're like, that's all right. I'm just gonna do everything for
Yeah.
everyone. And and so I was in that cycle for a very, very long time until those big events come up. Somebody passes away, a big breakup. I mean, those are the things that just make you sit. And it's in that stillness when you're not busy caring for everybody else that you go inward and identify what masks you're really operating from. And
Well, I think you also bring up a good point about how we get into these patterns and relationships and cycles, and I've tracked this again. Well, I think a really important is, am I actually accepting myself?
yeah,
Or am I expecting somebody else to accept me fully, but I haven't fully accepted myself,
yeah.
right? Because I'm not willing to shed this mask and be my authentic self, but I'm expecting someone to accept all of me.
Yeah, and I would love, I mean, not that, I will do this to any of my clients, but I would love to mic one of my clients after when they're going on a first date and just listen to how they conduct themselves because it's so easy to slip back into the mask of people pleasing. Oh,
Mhm.
really? Oh, tell me more about you, not and then sort of setting themselves aside, agreeing, saying something's fascinating when they really don't think it is. I mean, we just fall into this role of being driven by the response that somebody gives you and just setting yourself aside and not accepting who you are. Like if somebody says something to you on a first date that is potentially offensive, do you call it out or do you dismiss it and continue to people please because you want everything to work out perfectly?
Right.
So
And then you become resentful of the person, but you've allowed it yourself. You
yes.
know, there is a delicate or a kind way to say things like, I'm not, I don't accept that.